Hello and welcome to this short introductory video for the KOTESOL 2020 National Conference, which is going to be happening online. My name is Aaron Snubberger and I am an English, a technology, a Google, an online educator. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a programmer, I do a lot of things, and that's why I'm going to be helping spearhead some of the online aspects to this conference, and I'm making this video for you to kind of introduce how you might be able to make some online videos. If you noticed on the National Conference website, they do have a disclaimer about the current situation with COVID-19, the coronavirus in South Korea, and because of that there are many things, as you know, that are being canceled or postponed, and they didn't really want to postpone this event too much. They didn't want to cancel it. They thought that this would be a really good time to get people educated about how to do some of these things, like make online classes and things. So they're going to hopefully get some good content online that will help you also to create some online classes, because I'm sure by now many of you have probably received notification from your universities or schools that some of your classes are going to be happening online. Currently, I am also working on some online classes for my university, and I'm helping my wife work on hers, and I'm also making this video to help you maybe work on yours or maybe create some content for the KOTESOL National Conference. This is a quote from the KOTESOL National Conference website that says, "At this time we must consider alternatives to holding the conference on the originally planned date of April 25th. And so I am here to introduce you to some of these alternatives. In other words, how you can create content for the KOTESOL National Conference to share it online. So here are a couple of the alternatives that I personally have experience with and I have come up with that we should probably be able to utilize for the National Conference. And let me go through some of these quickly. The first thing that we will be looking into is YouTube Live. I know that we will be able to do some live streaming. We're still working on how to set this all up. Basically, we want to have at least a single track of presenters throughout the day in order doing YouTube Live, and we're still working on logistics for how to get that to work. But when we do live sessions, we should also be able to do live chat and question and answer sessions. If you are going to be recording some content for the KOTESOL National Conference, this is one option. This does not require any specialized equipment except for probably the laptop that you're currently using, because a laptop that you have would have a webcam that you could Skype with and a built-in microphone. So YouTube Live would be able to utilize both of those, and when you go live, you should be able to also edit your videos in their Creator Studio, and then any video that you create through YouTube Live should be able to be published directly on YouTube, and that's kind of what we're looking for. An alternative to YouTube Live, if you don't want to go live, would be to pre-record your sessions, and I have at least 3 different options that we can work with for pre-recorded sessions. The first one would be just in a classroom or presentation setting where you would probably just take in a smartphone and a camera. You could use a tripod or a friend to record your session, etc., etc. The second option would be to record your PowerPoint, and I'll show you an example of this here in just a minute. Third option would be to have a talking head video, which is where basically you have your web camera from your laptop record your head as you're talking, and you can also overlay that with the PowerPoint that you would also be working on if you use this software that I will introduce you to here in a minute, called OBS Studio. For editing, I do know that I put a star here. You can edit with the Creator Studio, the YouTube Creator Studio, after you upload content there. You can also, if you're on Windows machine, you can use Microsoft Windows Movie Maker, and you can download that for free. If you have Windows 10, they have Windows Movie Maker 10 out now. I'll show you a link to that. And if you're on Mac, then you can use iMovie. And I personally have used both Movie Maker and iMovie very successfully. They're very easy to use, very straightforward, self-explanatory, nowhere near as complicated as some of the high-end professional editing software like Adobe Premiere. So those are really good options if you need editing. But in my opinion, I would say please do minimal editing, because that's going to cause more of an issue, more of a headache. And it's better to just try and do your video in one shot, or record multiple shorter sections of your video and then just splice them together instead of trying to do too much editing. So let me go ahead and get out of this a little bit and show you some of the things that I am talking about. So for YouTube Live, what happens is when you go into YouTube, you have the ability to create a channel. You have the ability to create a channel through their YouTube Studio. There should be a button up at the top that says create, where you can upload a video or go live. The first time you go live, it will not allow you to go live because you need to verify your account. In order to verify your account, you will need to enter a phone number, and they will text you a confirmation number, which you can then enter into the website here. And once you are verified, you can see down here we have a few options down here. And one of them includes live streaming. So once you have verified your account, you can click enable to enable live streaming, and then it will take you to the live streaming dashboard, but it will alert you that you will now be ready in 24 hours because it takes 24 hours to activate your account for live streaming. So if you are thinking about doing any kind of YouTube live streaming, please be sure to set this all up more than 24 hours before the event. That's just a caution. And then, as I said before, you will be able to edit your live stream or any videos that you upload through the channel, through the YouTube Studio Creator. If you have a screen that doesn't look like this, that's probably because you're using the Studio Classic, and you should be able to click on Dashboard or My Videos somewhere and get it to change over to the new YouTube Studio. From here, you can click the details button here when you have a video uploaded, or if I have some live video, then there should be also an edit button. So I can click the details pencil icon, and then over here on the left you can see there's a button called editor. So once you click editor, you can also click get started, and in here you will be able to see the audio track, you are able to see the video track, you are able to see any overlays or end screens, any transitions or blurs, and you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can do things like cutting the video at certain places with this trim button and things like that. Once you're done with the cuts, the edits, etc., you can also preview these things by hovering over this and click play. You can change some settings, etc. Go ahead and click save, and then YouTube will save any of your changes. That is a very convenient way to edit videos directly in YouTube. Okay, so the next option that I discussed in the previous PowerPoint was classroom video recording. So I'm just going to pop up a few images here to show you what this kind of looks like. I'm sure you've seen on YouTube some professors recording their classes in this way. You can use a camera. This one you can see has a microphone attached. If you want better sound quality, you should get a specialized microphone that points directly at the speaker and is able to record audio at a higher quality. Another thing that you can do is you can use a smartphone. I have a smartphone in here somewhere. You can use a smartphone like this. And again, if you want higher audio quality, you need to get a microphone that will plug into the smartphone and point directly at the speaker. That'll give you a little bit higher audio quality. One caution to be aware of with smartphones is that as I've used my smartphone, I've noticed that the smartphone limits files to 4.29 gigabytes each. So you need to make sure that you have enough space. A 4.29 gigabyte file would be about 30 minutes of HD video. So if you're going to go longer than 30 minutes, please break it into different sections and then splice it together if you're using a smartphone. For Android phones, I do know that you can buy additional memory in micro SD cards, and you can insert micro SD cards into the phone. So I've done that with my phone. I have a 128 gigabyte micro SD card that I use for recording videos. I don't think that Apple's iPhones allow you to do that, so you just need to make sure that you have enough memory in order to record some videos. Okay, the third option that you have is to just record your PowerPoint. So for example, if you have a PowerPoint like this, what you can do is, and this should be PowerPoint 2016 or later, I believe. Anything before 2016 will not do this for you. But from PowerPoint 2016 and later, you can go up into the top ribbon, go to slideshow, and here you can see an option that's called record slideshow. So if we record slideshow, as soon as we click record, we can record all of the slide and animation timings, as well as narrations, ink, and laser pointing. So once we start recording, you'll notice up here that we have a little timer. The left timer is how much time I've spent on each slide. The right timer is how much time I've spent on this total. And so as I click through, it's going to allow me to, you can see the timer here is updating every time I click through. Also down here on the bottom, you can see that there's a few different tools that you're able to use. You can click this pencil tool and use a pen to underline, point at, circle, or write words, anything that you want. You can also use a highlighter in order to highlight certain things on your slides. You can also use an eraser, and with the eraser you just need to click on any of these things that you've drawn. And you are also able to use a laser pointer just to point some things out. You can obviously change the color on any of these things. You can erase all the ink on the slide, etc. Another interesting feature is that you can zoom out to all of your slides, and this zooming out to all of your slides, it won't actually record the zooming out part, but this is a way that you would be able to record what's currently on this slide, but then see where you want to go next. So what PowerPoint does is it records each slide's animations, interactions individually. So for example, earlier this morning I was helping my wife to record some PowerPoints for her class, and let's say that she recorded 10 slides in a row, and then I went back over and I re-recorded 5 of the original slides, but I didn't record over the following 5 slides. And when we played through the PowerPoint again, it had my recording over the first 5 slides and her original recording over the second 5 slides. So I do believe that PowerPoint records each slide and its interactions individually. If you push escape, you should be able to get out of the PowerPoint, and then each one should have a little button down here that shows you've actually recorded something on this slide. So you can see there I've got some recording on this slide, got some recording on this slide, and from here, this slide I have no recording. If I go down here, you can see that this slide has a recording. And then what I can do is I can come back in here and go Shift F5 to start playing it. You'll notice up here that we have a little timer. The left timer is how much time I've spent on each slide. And so as I click through, it's going to allow me to, you can see the timer here is updating every time I click through. Also down here on the bottom, you can see that there's a few different tools that you're able to use. You can click this pencil tool and use a pen to underline, point at, circle, or write words, anything that you want. You can also use a highlighter in order to highlight certain things on your slides. You can also use an eraser, and with the eraser you just need to click on. Okay, so you can see how that kind of works like that. And so that's a really good way that you can just record a PowerPoint and you're able to write things, interact with your PowerPoint, and show people what you want them to see. The final way that I am interested in allowing you to record videos is using this software called OBS Studio. So if you Google search OBS Studio, you can find a website called obsproject.com. It's for open broadcaster software, and this is actually a software that many live streamers use to record their video games or different things like that when they do Twitch TV, or YouTube Live, or things like that. So this studio is incredibly well supported. It works across all platforms, and it is very easy to get up and running and use. So let me show you a little demo of that. So this is the OBS Studio window, and you can see right now it is currently recording everything that I'm doing on the computer. It's recording my entire desktop. So as I move this around, it's recording everything. So what I have done down here is you have a sources panel. In the sources panel, I am capturing my display, and I can even minimize my display if I want, and you can see that each of those things is now minimizing. Okay, and in order to add a talking head video to this kind of studio setup, we have down here, we have sources, we have the display capture, and then you can add a new video source, which in this case would be a video capture device. So you click video capture device, create new, and you give it a title. And then you can see right there, there's a nice preview. And go ahead and click OK. And then in the OBS Studio, you can move around this video wherever you want. You can resize it as you wish, like this. And then as I click outside of this OBS Studio, it's going to continue to record my web camera even when I get out of this. So you should still see my face up here in the upper right hand corner, even as I'm clicking through a few of these different browser tabs, or even as I go into my PowerPoint. If I open PowerPoint again, if I go back into my PowerPoint, then you should still be able to see my talking head even as I present this PowerPoint, which is pretty unique. So you should still be able to see my talking head up here in the upper corner, even as I'm presenting this PowerPoint. And then I can still use the tools, and it makes everything pretty convenient like this. So that OBS Studio, I'm telling you, is a really good invention, a really good tool. So now for the video editing options. Like I said, you can use Video Creator, Video Studio, YouTube Studio, or you can use Microsoft's Windows Movie Maker 10, which is available through the Microsoft website. You just need to search for Movie Maker 10 and make sure that the link that you go to is Microsoft.com. There are many other applications that say they are the Movie Maker, but they are not from Microsoft, so you don't need to worry about getting that. Or if you're on a Mac computer, go ahead and use iMovie because it is very intuitive. It's very easy to trim clips and put clips together, and then you can upload it directly to YouTube from there. So for the KOTESOL content creation for this conference, what we're hoping to do is create a library of YouTube content. And so we're still working on logistics for all of those things, but at least this video should have given you a good introduction to how to create some online video and get ready. So please just continue to make sure that you double check the National Conference website in order to see any updates about how we want to deliver this content, or how we want you to upload it, or how we want you to share it with us. We'll keep everybody updated through this website. Thanks a lot.